The latest batch of released Epstein files are finally leading to some real consequences. Maybe not for exactly who we want them to yet, but it's getting pretty damn close. Because the MAGA-adjacent news network, formerly known as C Bullshit News, was forced to break ties with one of their newest stars after some vile email exchanges emerged between himself and the disgraced financier, including an exchange where he chose hanging out with Epstein despite his wife's desperate pleas to come to the hospital while their infant son fought for dear life. This is despicable and heinous. So now is the time to get the kids out of the room. Massive content warning for what we're about to discuss, but it is our duty to cover this stuff because this is exactly what the victims and activists have been fighting for all along: accountability. Now, the reason this self-pitying CBS star, Peter Attia, tried to apologize and lengthily explain away his Epstein-related shame is because apparently, in the latest tranche of Epstein files, Peter Attia's name appeared over 1,700 times. The 52-year-old anti-aging influencer hired by CBS News' MAGA-curious editor-in-chief Barry Weiss earlier this week was in regular communication with the disgraced financier until he was arrested and allegedly killed himself in 2019. Dozens of emails between Attia and Epstein outlined the pair's seemingly playful friendship. Yikes. Attia joked with the PDF file and even voiced concern for his legal well-being after serious allegations were made against Epstein. Here's an incredibly damning email between the two from June of 2015, where Peter Attia is responding to an email from Jeffrey Epstein that the subject is, "RE got a fresh shipment." Holy shit, you can't see the image that is there. But Peter writes, "You know the biggest problem with becoming friends with you? The life you lead is so outrageous, and yet I can't tell a soul." Epstein responds, "Afraid not. Please tell me you found that picture online, bastard." That message was written on June 24, 2015, 7 years after Epstein was arrested for procuring a child for prostitution, and 4 years before he was arrested on federal trafficking charges. In 2016, Attia grotesquely wrote to Epstein, joking around saying, "Pussy is indeed low carb, still awaiting results on gluten content though." Oh, that's disgusting. In December 2018, Attia apparently also asked Epstein if there was any legal fallout from a recent story, an apparent reference to the bombshell November 2018 Miami Herald story by Julie K. Brown that identified 80 of Epstein's victims. As if all of that wasn't already grotesque enough, just listen to this story about what happened when his son, Peter Attia's son, was dying in the hospital and his wife wanted him, understandably, to come and support them. CBS News' newest star contributor once chose to meet with Jeffrey Epstein, ignoring his wife's plea to come to the hospital where their infant son was being treated. It was Attia's own admission, detailed in his book, that revealed he ditched his family in their hour of need rather than cancel plans with Epstein. Tuesday, July 11, 2017, at 5:45 p.m. to be exact, I had received a call from Jill, my wife. Attia wrote in his book, "Outlive: The Science of Art and Longevity." That is insanely creepy when you remember all the talk of adrenochromes and harvesting children that has come from the recent Epstein file release. Attia said his wife was in the back of an ambulance with their son, who had, quote, suddenly stopped breathing and had no heartbeat until Jill, a nurse, resuscitated him through CPR. When Jill called me from the ambulance, I was in New York in a taxi on 54th Street on my way to dinner, Attia wrote. After she finished telling me the story, I just said without a shred of emotion, "Okay, call me when you get to the hospital so I can talk to the doctors in the ICU." He then remorsefully detailed how his wife spent 4 days alone in the ICU, pleading for him to come home to no avail, saying, quote, "I stayed in New York, busy with my important work. His son's cardiac arrest happened on a Tuesday, but I did not come home to San Diego until Friday of the following week, 10 days later." And fucking wouldn't you know it, meanwhile, an email from the day after his son's near death shows Attia solidifying plans to meet with Epstein the next morning. It's a little blurry, but it is right here on July 12, 2017 at 6:53 p.m. JEEvacation@gmail writes to Peter Attia, "Can you do before 10 a.m. tomorrow?" Attia responds, "Sure. I can come earlier. Also, if you have a hard stop at 10, let me know." And as if all of that wasn't shameful and disgusting enough, this self-pitying asshat tried to explain away his shame in a lengthy quote-unquote apology. He posted the actual email he sent to his team and his patients on Twitter. I'll link it below if you really want to read it. But basically, he tries to sum up, he wasn't involved in any criminal activities. My interactions with Epstein had nothing to do with his SA or exploitation of anyone. I was never alone on his plane or his island and never present at any sex parties. And he posts this really long bullshit apology, and all of the comments from MAGA people and regular people alike were just roasting him, saying, "The longer the explanation, the bigger the lie," Chinese proverbs. "Your poor son and wife," someone responded. Another person points out, "You associated with a known blank trafficker, that's the whole thing. The rest is a 1,500-word press release explaining how you didn't notice." Someone points to the email we talked about earlier where he says the biggest problem with being friends is you can't tell anybody about it, saying lies. You bragged about keeping his criminal activities a secret. 1,700 appearances in the Epstein files. Yeah, you had no idea who he was or what he did. Fuck you to death, buddy. Someone saying you're a monster, posting a screenshot of them searching his name with 1,752 results. I guess he tried to claim that, like, this was 10 years ago or whatever. And someone's like, 10 years ago, you were 42, a grown-ass male doctor. What type of excuse is that? And even some of his fans responded, says, "Speaking as a longtime, very disappointed and naive fan, I don't buy your remorse or shame. Lane Norton taught me to follow the trend of the evidence. You're still friends with dirtbags like Kevin Spacey. You simply value status more than you value being a good person. As well as fuck off, you deserve to lose everything for this, and I hope your friends and family shun you for eternity. Fuck around and find out." And fuck around and find out he sure did, despite reporting from as recent as today, saying that Barry Weiss, the Trump-kissing CBS News boss, is still fighting to save him over this Epstein fallout. Further reporting from Reuters says that CBS News is expected to sever ties with him over these Epstein links. And first and foremost, I am so happy that he is getting the axe, and I agree with everyone who commented on his apology saying he deserves this and he should essentially be shunned for life. But this is how you know the fight isn't over, because how the fuck is CBS's first response not to boldly claim that they are severing all ties, denounce with everything that he did, and shove this guy out the door publicly? I have covered the downfall of CBS on the Really American channel, a company and an institution that I used to love and actually used to work for and had a mentor at. But this is vile and disgusting. And it's this continued, type of trying to shield people from their horrific and heinous activities that is the reason we are in this situation to begin with. These corporations, these billionaire elites, these PDF file monsters set all of this in motion, set all of this up to protect each other, to get dirt on each other, so that none of them had to face the type of accountability that Peter Attia is facing right now. But the worst thing that we could do is be quiet or shut up about it, or let Peter be the only one to take the fall. I don't care if these motherfuckers are left, right, center, until they are buried or behind bars. I don't think we should rest. And I think anyone with half a conscience should agree. We will continue to cover this story as it unfolds, as well as all of the other stuff being leaked from these new Epstein files that people are continuing to go through and find new damning evidence against this elite, pedo, billionaire, wealthy ring of heinous monsters. So be sure to subscribe here at US Democratic Socialists, as well as our parent channel, Really American, to stay informed and to fight back against this fucking vile lunacy. For USDS and Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I will see you guys in the next one.